So God is so good, you guys. He be downloading a lot of good things to me. And I've been asking him to give me understanding about just things in general. So, talking about Adam and Eve. I've been talking about Adam and Eve in my last couple videos. And I've been talking about naked and ashamed and unashamed, excuse me. Naked and being unashamed to just be or whatever, right? But this just recently, I've been out here walking with my friend and I've just been talking about Jezebel. Jezebel is a character in the Bible that's very interesting to me. Whereas most people just dismisses her because of her evil-like behavior. They dismiss her. I sometimes tend to take a deeper look into her because God makes everybody. He made everything, and everything that is made has a purpose, right? So we were talking about Jezebel, but then I went back to Adam and Eve and what he was showing me. So Eve was created from a rib from Adam, right? God actually took a rib from Adam to create Eve, which is his helpmate, right? The rib cage is a protective barrier that surrounds the heart and the lungs. Our heart and our lungs are two of the most important things in our bodies that keeps everything functioning and moving and going. You know, our hearts, we always look at too as our emotional home for the things we feel, but it also is the organ that pumps blood and life to the rest of our bodies. But the blood that it pumps to the rest of our body is filled with oxygen from the lungs and parts of the heart. So you have one side of the heart that has oxygenated blood and the other side that has blood that has not been oxygenated yet. And that is being pumped to the rest of the body.
Stay with mom and dad.
I think it's interesting that God took a piece of the rib cage, which is that protective barrier of that man's heart and his lungs, and then he created a woman. We are supposed to be, now the woman is the helpmate, right? And in that her being the helpmate, you going to get some water?
Yeah.
Okay. And that her being the helpmate, we are still a part of that protective barrier that protects a man's heart and his lungs. And his lungs takes in the life, right? So we are a protective barrier of life and in his heart. I just find that very amazing. But there's some, because we have freedom of choice out here, who choose to take that. Women, we all don't understand how much influence and power we have. That's why Jezebel, her punishment was so severe, because of the type of influence she had and how she chose to use her influence in this world, especially with her husband, Ahab. Like, I'm guessing she loved him. I'm going to assume that she did. But she was willing to protect his heart and his life by any means necessary, because she never plotted against him. But she was willing to be dirty to anybody that came against him. And I was just like, Jesus, I could see myself, and I have been a person that's been willing to be protective over my family and my friends and my loved ones. But I feel like I know that I've never been willing to protect them by any means necessary, in the sense of harming someone else because of just a want or a desire of someone that I love. I'm not going to do that. But I have been extreme to, I have moved, we can go either way. I have reacted in extreme ways to be protective. I protected my sisters before. Like, I remember as a kid, I saw my sister crying, and some people, well, I didn't see her crying, somebody else saw her crying, and they came to me in my class when I was in high school, I was probably maybe like a sophomore or a junior. I don't remember. My sisters are great over me. And they brought her to, that somebody came to me and got me out of my class and was like, I asked the teacher, let me go to the restroom. She was like, yeah. And I come out into the hallway. They was like, your sister is in the music department sitting in one of the practice rooms crying. I was like, why? So I went to the practice room where my sister was at. And I went in there. She was sitting there crying. I was like, what's wrong with you? And she was like, nothing. It's okay, Misty. Don't worry about it. No, it's not okay. You my sister, and you might be sitting in here crying. And I got people running to me telling me they watching you sitting in this room by yourself crying. What's wrong with you? So someone else says, I saw this other girl talking to her. And whatever they was talking about, the conversation got heated. And she said something very mean to your sister. And your sister started crying. And I was like, well, what'd she say to you? And I don't remember what it was she said. But I took my sister by her hand. And I walked around that school until I found the girl. Around our music department, because our music department in high school was pretty big. I walked around the entire music department until I found her. And I said to this girl, and I walked up on this girl. By this time, a crowd of people had followed me, and I wasn't meaning for that to be the case, but it's just what happened. So I followed the girl. I walked up to the girl with my sister, and I put my sister there, and I said, why is my sister crying? And the girl attitude, blase spit, whatever she was saying. I don't remember half the stuff she said. And I was so angry that my sister is here crying. It hurt. I was looking at this girl who had no care about the fact my sister was crying. She had no care about whatever she said to my sister to hurt her feelings. I truly didn't even know the full depth of whatever happened, but I know my sister is such a sweetheart and she doesn't do anything to anybody and hurt anybody. So I'm assuming this woman is being nasty to my sister for some real jacked up purposes, and it wasn't going to work with me. So I said to her, I need you to apologize to my sister because she shouldn't be standing here crying. Well, she didn't want to apologize, and I don't feel like I'm wrong. And I was like, okay. I started removing top layers of clothes. So either you're going to apologize to my sister or we're going to have a real problem in here. I don't care what you have to do. I need you to fix this because my sister shouldn't be standing here crying. She was like, okay, fine. She halfway apologized to my sister. And I looked at my sister and I looked at the girl. I said, I don't believe you. And I looked at my sister. I said, do you believe her? She was like, yeah, Missy, I believe her. I said, no, you don't. Apologize better or I'm about to wreck you in this room right now. So she broke down. She talked to my sister. She apologized to my sister. They talked, and they really got, and I think a lot of people, we end up pushing people out the room, and they end up talking. And eventually they talked, and they came to a conclusion, and everything was okay. My anger had subsided. And I said, thank you for doing that. I made sure my sister was good. And I was like, now hug her. Now hug her. You feel me? And she hugged her. They hugged it out. Everything was everything. And I walked away. That was me willing to do whatever I need to do for the protection of my sister. Women, we are natural protectors as well as men can be a natural protector of his children, his wife, his family or whatever. But we have a natural sense of protection too, because that is how we were created, to protect the hearts and the breath. We are a piece of that lung from that man. So we are a part of that man. So we will have that protective understanding, but specifically hearts and lives. Right? God was just showing me this, like, if we have this influence of being these type of protectors and nurturers, and to have this understanding, we have to use that understanding better than we have been. We can't be reckless with it. It's somewhere else I can go with this, but as women, we can't be reckless with the way we protect our men. We can't be reckless with the way we protect our children. We are nurturers of the heart. We are protectors of the heart. So if you're a protector of the heart, it's not just about preventing it from being hurt. It's about nurturing it so that it can always function properly. That's another part of the rib cage. If the rib cage is covered, remember the heart has its position in his job to function. The lungs have its position in its job. And we are to protect it so that it can do its job. Thank you, Lord, properly, so that it can nourish the rest of the body. God is so good. He is so good just for that download right there. I'm grateful. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I'm going to leave it right there because I'm just in awe right now that he gave me this download, but I've been asking him to give me better understanding of how to use what he has given me so that I can use it properly and not take advantage or use my influence for things that are not good. Having that knowledge of good and evil, because Adam and Eve ate from that tree, they have that knowledge of good and evil. You can know good and you can know evil, but because we have the choice, we still have to choose the good and not the evil. Even with having the knowledge of the evil, we still have to choose to do good. That is a powerful thing, to be able to just choose to do good when you know it's so easy to do the evil thing. I'm grateful. I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. I guess this will be part of that 10-minute Naked and Unashamed, but this is a side note to that. I just wanted to share that. Follow me on TikTok for those videos, for the Naked and Unashamed videos. Continuously, I just started them, but God is good. All glory and honor, Father, belongs to you. Peace and much love.